Welcome to this week's episode of the Red Couch Podcast. I'm Konstantinos Drossos. Alongside me is my co-host Allan. And today we are joined by Cole Tyler, who is a musician in the MIA program and is also an indie artist. Cole, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. Right on. How's your summer been so far?
Very low key, just enjoying the nice weather.
Pretty awesome weather. Not.
So MIA, Music Industry Arts.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that how it fully stands for?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you want to join this program here at Fanshawe?
I've been playing music, making music my whole life, and it's been something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've applied to it, I think, 3 times and got accepted all 3 times, but just thought, maybe it's not the best direction. Maybe like an artist shouldn't go to school to be an artist, but I think just with the outreach and the studio and faculty and equipment they have here has been like a really solid choice in the direction I want to go.
And do you have like your parents, like do they actually play instruments? Is that where you got some of the inspiration from?
My dad got me into guitar when I was like a baby. So I think like I owe a bit of that to him for sure.
And were they kind of like behind you on this idea to go into this program, or?
Yeah, they were supportive parents. They wanted me to do whatever I wanted to do. So I'm lucky.
That's good. Because I feel like some people like going out to like follow their dreams or do something big, the parents might be like, what are they thinking?
Yeah, even my props, they're kids who don't want to do music. They're very, they're happy about that. The opposite.
Yeah.
You said that growing up you played guitar. Did you play any other instruments growing up, or?
It's funny. My brother played drums, and then my other brother played bass. I played guitar, but we all kind of did our own separate things. We never like all played together.
Oh, not like a whole band?
No, we all had our own bands, own projects.
So,
But,
own style of music.
Yeah.
Okay. But going back to like the program though, what has been like your favorite part? Because you're in your second year now?
Going into my second year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what has been like the whole favorite part?
Just working with all the musicians and having, studios and the technology that we wouldn't otherwise have access to just kind of do what we want to do and work and learn how to mix and record and use the equipment. It's been awesome.
What's it like actually being in a whole music studio with the amount of people like that?
Well, it's very like intimate because we all have studio times and we all like sometimes it's 3 a.m. or some crazy hour like that. But just choosing the musicians you want for your project and working with them is like a really intimate experience. It's it's nice.
It goes on just to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Being with them. It just seems so interesting being in like a whole studio and figuring out the whole process and sitting there and listen. Because I know the one day I actually walked into Dan Broadback teaching a class and he was just blasting music and everyone's just sitting there just taking notes away, just like writing it down. I'm like, what is going on here? But it was so crazy. Just they had all projectors up top and I was like, what is going on here? Like, what is the process going on behind all of this?
I can't speak for what was going on there. But yeah, it's definitely a cool experience to just, be there and being taught by these, industry professionals how to do professional recordings and, look for the right things and get tips on how to be a musician.
Do you like more playing with like the software side of music or do you like more for like the actual instruments?
Both. Like I love playing guitar. I love recording. I love the sound of amps and, drums and live music, but like capturing that is like the whole part that I'm really starting to love a lot. Just capturing the magic as it happens is like just such a satisfying thing.
Almost like that feeling somewhere is coming from it, like yourself inside.
Yeah, like sometimes you hear something that isn't even there yet, and you're like, and then you start to tangibly understand better what that thing is and getting closer to it.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty neat.
Like on that point, kind of shifting away from having the luxury of working in a studio now that you're in the summer to keep your skills sharpened. What's it like recording music at home and getting the quality that you want?
Yeah, you have to work with a lot less. You know, you get your Scarlett 4i4 little interface and just try to get something that sounds anywhere near as decent as like a soundproofed live sound room, which is impossible. But like, yeah.
I was curious because like I have a friend who does the same thing, but he never really goes into detail about it. But like, what softwares do you use when you do record at home and stuff?
Ableton. That's like my bread and butter. Yeah.
Do you use like any like when it comes to mixing as well? Like what kind of do you use like FL Studios or anything like that?
Pretty much just Ableton. Like you can do so much with it. It's really expansive, and the more you learn, the more there's no ceiling to it.
And we talked about this a little bit outside too. I wanted to pick your brain a little bit about guitar pedals, and you said you do have a couple. Like what others do you want to get into?
I've like one that I use. I really want more. I want a looper really bad. I've used loopers and I know that like I'm good with them, but I just haven't dropped the hammer on it yet. Looper.
And what does a guitar amp actually? Are you saying an amp or is it like something you press your foot on?
It's a pedal, yeah. Usually,
that's a pedal?
Yeah, it's usually when you go to like a live venue and you see the guitarists like playing with little buttons on a pedal right by their feet. It's like it gives the guitars effects and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
It's like circuitry. Like you plug an amp or a guitar into an amp and you get just the guitar tone. But if you put it through a pedal into the amp, it can like change any kind of thing. Like there's so many different pedals that do so many different things. So
what are some of the changes you've done just at home with it?
Yeah, a lot of overdrive, like choruses, reverb. Reverb is very interesting when you get into it. Kind of like in this room right now, you can hear like a slight echo or reflections off the walls, but you can like digitally recreate that with pedals.
Oh.
Yeah.
And just like totally change up the whole tone of the area almost. Yes. That's neat.
Are there any like artists that you kind of like who you've want to kind of emulate that same sound or take inspiration from it for your own projects?
Recently I've been listening to a lot of like funk and soul music. Common Saints is like just it sounds like gold hitting your eardrums, and that's something that I strive to get the quality of recording.
It's quite interesting.
Someday.
What skills have you actually taken from your program that you're actually using at home?
Pro Tools.
Pro Tools
is the software that all the industry professionals use these days with music recording, and learning that's definitely been it's a learning curve for sure. But trying to keep on top of that going into the next year has been on my mind a lot.
And I mean, like thinking about that, like being at home, you're sort of being this independent artist. And I'll be honest to all the viewers out there, I was looking this up. Indie, like being an indie artist just means you're an independent artist.
Yeah.
That's all that it stands for.
You could be just entirely by yourself doing your own marketing, putting your own music out there and just trying to market it as much as you can yourself. You could be with an indie label though, which you're still technically an independent artist. Oh. So you're working with like an agency that's smaller, working with just musicians that it can help locally.
Okay. And then you can just like still publish your own sort of style of music.
Yeah, through the indie label. Or you could just be completely by yourself with no label and just try to do everything yourself, which is the way most people need to do it now, really, realistically.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. And then have you posted any songs?
No. I'm just making like a backlog of stuff that I will strategically start to release in the future.
So just cooking up something right now in the background, seeing how you feel about it.
Yeah, getting enough stuff so I can release it smart, consistently, rather than like putting one song out and then just hoping that blows up. And then it's like a shot in the dark.
Yeah. But you never know. You could go to somewhere big if you market it properly.
It's true.
Yeah, kind of rerouting back to recording into software, into studio. Can you get the same kind of sound that you get when recording in a studio compared to like recording into software when you're at home, or is there just like something that's like very different in like the feeling? Is like what's it like?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. One of my profs asked this: "Are we going to need studios in the future?" And like, it's unprecedented because AI and technology is getting so good. You can recreate studio sounding instrumentation just on your computer. So it's getting kind of crazy. We might not need studios in the future.
It's very scary to think about.
Yeah, I mean, like that Drake AI as
Yeah.
well. But like the whole, just it's Drake's voice, but Drake did not even sing or rap a single word on that. That's insane.
Or SpongeBob singing Metallica. It's nuts. I mean, like, yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of like South Park remakes with like people singing like Evanescence. It's quite good, honestly. It's like the way they're screaming.
It's not like you
interesting.
just press a button and it happens, though. It's like
No.
it's a very capable few people who know how to do that at this point.
Yeah, like I've even seen Frank Sinatra as well as like voice. Like it seems like it's just easy voices that they can pick up and
Yeah, they know how to recreate it
yeah,
very well,
it's so
really well.
yeah, it's so interesting to see like that whole side. And yeah, I mean, I know that's like the main part I've like was really thinking about was like for studio wise for everything. Like most rappers, it almost seems like nowadays they just
Bedroom.
yeah, it's just in their bedroom, just creating these things. They don't need a studio. And I mean, do you like, I think it's more the quality I'm thinking about. Like, do you get better quality sounds like from the instruments, or is it almost still the exact same from just the software?
At this point, I think you're never gonna get a studio recording like, pure like sound treated studio sound with in your closet in your bedroom.
Okay.
But like sometimes it's desirable to have those kind of like homemade sort of recordings. Like that just adds to the sort of quality, like, the lack of quality. But it's part of what people maybe want now is less produced stuff.
Yeah, and I got a question of that too. I actually talked to Dan Broderick about this, but just from your opinion as well, do you think that shifting in like through analog recording, do you think that there are benefits that you can only get through that path compared to digital? Like, are there just some things that you can't miss with analog recording?
Yeah, I think there definitely are certain qualities of like outboard gear that is physical and it changes over time. And like these things, they'll never sound the same day to day. Where like digital, you get what you want and it'll sound the exact same every single time. So it's really what you want to do. If you want the old school sound, then you'll use the outboard gear. If you want the new school sound, you'll use and polished sound, you'll use the digital stuff. But going forward, who knows? Maybe you can just completely recreate that old school sound with the digital stuff.
It's quite like it's an uncanny kind of feeling, like no one's unknown which direction it's going to go in, right? But yeah.
I mean, speaking of direction though, for your own career, where are you really kind of hoping to take this after the program of music industry arts?
Yeah, I mean, I love performing and playing, but like I really have evolved into a new sort of love for just being in the studio and recording other people and like making music with other people.
So would that be almost like a sound engineer a little bit, or?
Sound engineer, producer, working with people who have visions and wanting to like, really lift it up into something great. And like seeing, their love for it grow.
It seems like that could be something that's really in demand as well. Like if you find like some talented artists like that
Yeah.
could be a great singer.
And I think musicians want that direction of somebody to kind of like tell them what to do, which is good for like, producers, because it is still very much in demand. Sometimes a musician's great, but they just can't get their ideas out. And that's what their producer's job is to like kind of help that process.
You'd be that man just to pull it out of their brain and be like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what we're going to try.
Try
out."
this. Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
cool.
For me, the question is, for songwriting, do you songwrite as well?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in that case, what's the process that you take in when it comes to songwriting? How do you cultivate the lyrics and when you're structuring a song and making sure that what you write down matches up with the rhythm and the music all together and mixing it together? What's your process like?
Yeah, I think like every songwriter is kind of a poet. So I'll keep like a little poetry book with me and just kind of like pull stuff out of there and shape it, bend it. And sometimes it's just like comes out. Like it's not really a conscious thing. It's just like, you sync up your words with a feeling and a melody. And it just comes out.
It's like in the moment almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think about it too much, kind of falls
It
apart.
takes the authenticity. Yeah, it's true.
And I mean, to our audience out there as well for this, that might be considering actually getting into the music industry arts program, what would be some things that you would suggest or recommend looking into before jumping into it?
Look at you look at all the stars of the people that you love who've made it, your favorite artists, but like you gotta think about like the graveyard too. Like it's a lot
The
bigger than
graveyard?
the pool of people who have been successful with music. Like chances are you're probably not gonna make money in the music industry. There's small pockets. And if you could get in those pockets, then like there's a lot of money. But yeah, just statistically speaking, it's chancy. So
it's taking that risk, but almost like a strategic risk.
yeah, that's why I'm in the program, to hopefully make connections with people that I'll be working with in the future.
Okay. Kind of who are you hoping for connection wise?
Just the all the profs,
Yeah. Had connections for those.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Well, shall we move into the lightning round?
I'm down to.
I don't know what's happening.
It's just gonna be quick questions being thrown at you. Just
Yeah.
some things that you'll have to answer.
Sure.
Could be like one word things, but we'll get the lightning round going on for it. You want to start off?
Favorite artist or band?
Right now,
Right now, or when you growing up?
I'd have to say I think Puma Blue.
Puma Blue. What kind of style are they?
Like lo-fi R&B influence. I think they're from the UK.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool style. I guess then it goes into the next one, actually. Favorite genre of music?
I think I have to say blues.
Blues?
Yeah.
Like the old like classic blues,
Yeah,
or
like
is there
B.B.
like
King. Yeah.
I love that too. Favorite guitar model?
I think the PRS Pro
Yeah,
edition. Yeah.
right on.
I do not know
So Santana
guitars.
played.
Oh yeah, like Carlos Santana.
And
Oh,
also Opeth, which is like very different, but it's just such a sorry, this is supposed to be a lightning round, but it's such a versatile
It's okay.
instrument. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. We can talk off about these. It's fine. Yeah. Favorite pedal effect and why?
Reverb, I'd have to say, just because it adds so much to like what the sound is like. It paints completely, like if you want an intimate sounding guitar, then you could turn the reverb down, and if you want like more ambience, turn it up. Just like, yeah.
I agree. And a lot of people might not like kind of understand this, but like, what about like your favorite amp brand? Like, who do you like
Orange.
the most? Orange.
Yeah, orange.
Yeah.
It's to all the viewers and me here.
Yeah.
It's not an actual orange.
No,
Is
no,
it?
no.
No.
This brand is called orange.
This brand's called Orange.
Been
Yeah,
around forever.
Even make pedals too. They're pretty sick.
Don't have to think about it too much.
Oh, all right.
Orange.
And favorite guitarist?
Man, that's hard.
Like, Is it there's like I only know like classic like Slash or what is it like Angus?
Angus Young from AC/DC.
Yeah,
I think maybe Tosin Abasi of Animals as Leaders. Just like his ability to convey emotion through strings. It's wild.
It's quite awesome.
I've never heard this. I'm gonna have to look this up now.
Good.
Here's-
very spread in terms of musical interests.
Yeah, it seems like it. It's really a deep dive on music, but that's cool though. Like how deep you can actually find for like these type of artists. Because are they like widely known?
Yeah. I mean, if you're into like metal, you've probably heard of him.
Oh,
but
okay.
If you haven't, then probably not.
Oh, yeah, I'm not, so it makes sense why.
A lot of people, I'd say like Sinister Gates is pretty cool too. He's got really interesting like progressions and the way he kind of sets up his songs for Avenged Sevenfold. Pretty cool, yeah. Yeah. I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Red Couch Podcast. You can find this episode on our website or wherever you get wherever you get your podcasts. Watch full episodes on our YouTube channel, and to subscribe to our newsletter for all things Fanshawe. For the entire bang, I'm Konstantinos Drossos. We'll see you next time.